Shabbat Shalom, everyone. On Sunday, Erev Tu B'Shvat, I had the distinct pleasure, especially because I have such a nice boss, to spend the day at Eisen Torah Ba'aretz for their annual Tu B'Shvat conference on Mitzvot Ataliyot Ba'aretz, and it was focused on modern-day agriculture and halacha. For example, using drones for halacha. It was fascinating. The Nasi of Eisen Torah Ba'aretz is none other than Harav Yaakov Ariel. He was there all day. He was very accessible. I was able to lachforlo. In English we say to dig, to ask him all of my questions. I only asked him two. The first one was on AI and Talmud Torah. That's for a separate thing. I asked him the following question. Harav Ariel, is it permissible to play chess on Shabbat? The reason for this Dvar Torah is because we have a Serah Hadibrot, Zachor et Yom Shabbat. So therefore I'm talking about Shabbat. Are you allowed to play chess on Shabbat? Despite the Pesach of Moshe Feinstein. Moshe Feinstein is famous for saying, look, not everybody's a good sport. There's a winner, there's a loser. The loser may cry, he may have tsa'ar, and you're causing on Yom Shabbat tsa'ar, which is prohibited. So if you know that you're playing with a sore loser, you may not play with him. Rabbi Yaakov Ariel said, that's correct. Good. Now is my question. When I play, I move very quickly when it's my turn. I think maybe 2 seconds, boom, boom. My children, they like to think. They can take 5 minutes for every move. If I would take 5 minutes, I would see every possibility like they do, and they beat me, even though I'm better than them. So I wanted to know, can you use on Shabbos a analog chess clock? There's nothing electric about it, it's all mechanical. When it's your turn, the clock is ticking, you stop the clock, and then that starts your opponent's clock. He said, that was a medida. I said, I know it's medida, but it says, in Orach Chaim, Si'if Shin Chet, Si'if Katan Nun Aleph, and I read, Mashe Moire Ala Shois, that which calculates time, an instrument called an Uri Lozo, which is Rav Yosef Karo's Spanish or Greek, Shekorin Eli Rozo, which is a sundial. Ben Shehu Chol, Ben Shu Shel Min Acher, a sundial or any other type of time measuring device. This is in Dvarim Shasurim L'Tatel B'Yom Shabbat. This is about muksa. It's not about medida. It's about muksa. Yesh listapek imutar l'taltalo. Can you move it on Shabbat because it's muksa? You can't use medida. You can't use a measuring device because medida is a sur d'Rabbanan. Why? Weights and measures. Shema yichsov. It's not prohibited biblically, but the Rabbanan is prohibited. Ukvar pashat aminhag le'esor. That is all. The Rama says nothing, but the Mishnah Brura comes to save the day. Says the Mishnah Brura, Yesh le'esor, and he says bazaiger, the watch. How about a watch? That's also measuring time, but you're not stopping and starting it as opposed to a sundial. Like the analog clock, you're starting and stopping and starting. Yesh shalanu yesh latir. Watches are permissible. The dafka ktanim shekorin tashin, aval or tashin or. I don't know what that is. Aval hagdoilim shekorin wand or. Oh, I guess that's like a clock. Asur letaltil. You can't. It's muktzeh. I guess a big clock you can't. But a tashin must be a watch. That's okay. Maybe it's a pocket watch. Vafilu yeah, or it's probably hour. So Tashin is probably pocket watch, as opposed to a clock. And those that are on the ground, you shouldn't pick it up. That was not the correct one. Let's see here. Says the Mishnah Brura, why do you have to say maybe it's permissible, maybe it's not to move a sundial on Shabbat? It's like measuring time. That's the prohibition. O hatzel. I guess that's a I don't know, hourglass? Not a, what do you call it? With a sundial. Vehevi bichlal kli shemlachto leisur. The medida b'Shabbat asur. Ksheina shel mitzvah. Rav Yaakov Ariel says, I'm sorry. The analog clock is medida. And I said, I know, but the Mishnah Brura says medida shel mitzvah shari. Eizu mitzvah yeshbo. I said, what do you mean eizu mitzvah? I only play chess on Shabbat. It's Oinik Shabbos. And I said, what? When my wife in the kitchen needs to make salad dressing, and she takes a measuring cup, and she puts 100 grams of oil, 150 grams of vinegar. That's medida shel mitzvah? Ken. And this is not medida shel mitzvah? Lo. Okay, Rabbi Ariel. There's a tshuva from 350 years ago called Chaim V'Chesed. He asked explicitly, can you use a sundial on Shabbat? And he said, of course you can. How do I know? Because in the great synagogue of Lisbon, Portugal, the chief rabbi on Shabbat morning would get up to give a drasha. The gabbai, the sexton of the shul, would take a 15-minute sundial and he would put it in front of him. And he would say, Rabbi, you better be done before the sand runs out. זה מדידה של מצווה, says Rav Yaakov Ariel. למה זה מדידה של מצווה? Because הציבור רעב, הוא רוצה לחזור הביתה לאכול את הארוחה שלו, והבטן שלו מחרקר. לכן זה מדידה של מצווה. I said, please, I have a tshuva that a sundial is mutter, that's exactly like the analog clock. אני עדיין אוסר כי זה תחרותי. It's too competitive. I said, Rabbi, we're not that good. We're not on that level. It's just to make a level playing field. זה לא תחרותי? I said, נכון, זה לא תחרותי. אם זה לא תחרותי, אני מתיר. That's the psak, Yaakov Ariel, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, David.